Hey, so today's class is a class we did. We talked about this issue a number of years ago, and in class, and then Sai here decided, talked to me after class one day and said, "Hey, let's talk about mental health." And we have people here from all over the world, different places in the world, and we all think differently about mental health. Different cultures, we contextualize it in different ways. Okay, I should talk to you all, and I have different experiences with people talking about mental health when I travel and talking to folks, and so it seems like it's a good topic to bring up because. Life is difficult, y'all, as many of you know, and Julie and I know because Julie and I get the emails and from you all, and so we have a sense of this, and that it's big, and that many of us struggle. Whether we say it or not, whether we acknowledge it or not, whether we talk about it with other people or just keep it to ourselves, the point is, many of us struggle, and we probably should struggle, because I don't know why anyone would think that with the design of the world as it is, that we're born into these, we have these bodies, and our spirits are born into them. And then, we're left here, as my wife says, without a roadmap. I mean, there are no operating instructions. So you can believe in some kind of religious ideology or some kind of philosophy of some sort, but that's a belief, and you're going to believe that on the basis of faith. You're not believing it on fact. I mean, you might think it's fact. You might think that your holy book is a fact-based book. And good for you that you have the ability to think that. But the truth is, in the end, it's rooted in faith. That you have to believe that this book has the truth, or this philosophy, or this perspective. Like, you really have to believe this. And so, at some level, there's a choice. And therefore, there's always a question. And as long as there's a question, there are no operating instructions. Like, how do we do this thing? And, if you're really alive, if you're thinking and you're alive, and I know you would agree with this, and you're aware, then you have a lot of questions. And the questions gives rise to more questions. And the more questions we have, the more unsettling it is to live every single day. Day in and day out. And when you get to my age, and you don't have operating instructions, and you haven't figured it out, it can be really difficult. Because unlike many of you, I'm getting close to death. I mean, I'm getting close to the end. And so I'm getting ready to go over the cliff, and I don't know what's there. I don't know what it's all about. And so, this is really hard. And so our mental health is just as important as our physical health. And so when you think about all the physical ailments that we have, right, all of us, whether we have a sore knee, or we get a sore back, or we have this, or we have that, we have just as many mental ailments or psychological ailments. And so that's what we're going to talk about today a little bit. Okay, y'all? It feels good. It feels like a really good conversation. So, bro, why don't we just start with you and just say your names and where you're from?
Hello, my name is Gun Hyung. I'm from South Korea.
My name is Tim. Well, that's my white name, but my real name is Ting Wei. Oh, right, China, my bad.
Ting Wei.
Yeah.
From China.
My name's Brooke. I'm from a really small town, but it's close to Williamsport, Pennsylvania.
Mm-hmm.
My name is Sai, and I'm from India.
My name is Mohammed. I'm from Saudi Arabia.
My name's Angel, and I'm from France.
From France. But you're Nigerian, French Nigerian, right? Okay. So you can speak on behalf of... How long did you spend in France? How long have you...
10 to 11 years.
Okay, cool. And you're the lone American, so... And you haven't been in... You've never been in therapy? Like, I'm not even going to ask... See, I wouldn't even ask these other folks, because I know the answer is no. You've never been in therapy. You've never been in therapy. You have, because you're interested in these issues, but the two of you. Like, you have been? Dude, awesome, man. You're like the only Arab who's been in therapy. Actually, therapy is like really expanding in the Middle East for sure. Yeah. Okay, so listen. I've been in therapy, by the way. I spent I would say I spent 3 years in therapy, really trying to understand the operating instructions. Really, I mean, I wouldn't be here. I couldn't be here. I couldn't do what I do, and I wouldn't be who I am if I didn't spend all that time in therapy or in counseling, really talking with another person who was asking me good questions, right? Questions that I really couldn't ask myself, because you can't ask yourself questions. I mean, that's kind of crazy. You need someone else to do that, right? Hey, so... So the question is, how open are people in your culture in talking about mental health? Like, how open are people in talking about it? And I don't mean like the media, I mean people.
I would say very inclusive on the topic of, having a mental health or mental illness. That's why, as you know, like, we don't really kind of share like, oh, I'm going to the mental health therapy and things like that. So I feel like people are still very kind of shy to talk and share about those type of topics.
Mm-hmm. So when you say people, so you're talking about Koreans, right? Koreans are shy.
Yeah.
Do you have a sense of what makes them shy? Like, what is it that leads them to be reluctant?
I want to say it's there's a atmosphere of kind of people looking at you like those eyes when, let's say, someone is having a mental therapy, and they will kind of look at you as if there's something wrong with you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So I guess our culture is still in the stage of considering mental therapy as a problem, not like, just a regular thing that anyone can have.
And whose problem is it?
The person who's going to the therapy,
Mm-hmm.
Oh, so you're well, I'm not going to therapy and you are, so I guess you have something wrong with you in your mental.
So do you think Koreans would think it's strange, or how strange would Koreans think it is that I'm standing in front of all these people, right? And on YouTube saying, like, yeah, I was in therapy for 3 years, right?
I'll say like more than half will be surprised by your kind of pride or like your
My openness.
Yeah, your openness.
Yeah, here it's almost like a badge of, like, you go to, in some communities in the U.S., right? Like, it's a badge of honor, like, to be in therapy. Ting Wei, how about you? How about in China?
Well, I was in therapy like a few months ago, but in China, people don't really talk about it. Like if I talk to my mom about it, my mom just go, it's not a real thing. Just go to sleep. You'll be fine in the morning.
Wait, so you were in therapy and counseling here at Penn State or in State College, yeah? Okay, and you told your mom.
Yeah.
And your mom said.
Mom said, it's just go to sleep. It's
It's
not a real thing.
You don't need that.
You wake up and you feel all normal again. I'm like,
Uh-huh.
yeah, that's how I feel.
Do you have to drink ginseng tea first or something, or green tea, or to feel normal again? Like, what do you mean?
I don't
Like, what
know.
do you mean?
Yeah, that's why I ask her. I'm like, it feels weird, you know. And you have no energy. You just don't want to do anything.
And were you really reluctant? How reluctant were you to tell your mom? Like,
I mean, to my mom, I would tell her anything.
Uh-huh.
So
uh-huh.
not that reluctant. But to other people, I wouldn't say anything, probably.
Except
Yeah.
to the camera.
Oh, well, yeah.
Yeah, but you wouldn't, if like with your friends and stuff.
Yeah. But my friends know. My friends know.
Okay, but are just people who you like met at a gathering or a party, and you wouldn't say something because,
Wait.
like,
What?
if you hang on, your friends know that you were in.
My only friend, no.
Yeah, you have one friend. This
Yeah.
guy's your only friend.
Yeah,
So you need-
that's my bestie right there.
Dude, he needs another friend, man. 'Cause look at this guy. Like, he really needs another friend. Somebody
Yeah,
help
yeah.
him out. All right. Wait, he knows. Do other friends know? Do your coaches know, by the way?
My coach, yeah, they know after I've been in therapy for like 2
Got you.
months.
Okay. I
Yeah,
got it.
yeah, yeah.
All right. That's cool. Hey, let me ask you a quick question. What'd you learn about yourself?
Absolutely nothing.
Seriously?
It's quite, like, the whole session is quite useless, honestly.
Oh, my God. Sai, you're going to respond to
No,
that.
because I just stopped going.
Yeah?
Yeah, I just stopped going.
Maybe that's why it was useless, bro.
It didn't make me feel any different. Every time, like, she's like, okay, it's time. Like, when do you want to come? When do you want to come next week? I'm like,
All right, hang on, man. Hang on. Sai has something to say to you about that. Hey, Brooke. No, hang on. No, go ahead. Actually, Sai.
The thing with therapy is if you're not gonna go for it more than therapy is like a gradual process. You can just go twice and then be like, oh, it's not working. When I went for therapy, I'm a psychology major and I'm like a big mental health, like I believe in mental health and everything. And I went for the first 2 sessions and I was like, this is not doing anything. But if you don't go for your 3rd, 4th, and 5th, it's not gonna do anything. And that's like, it's a process. It's like trust in the process kind of thing. And there are a lot of therapists because it actually works. It works.
So let me ask you this. What have you learned about yourself?
For me, I think about myself, so my therapy is different. I don't go there to like get to know more about myself. It's more like a venting session for me, but I get to know that. Do you actually want me to say like what I actually got to know about myself?
Yeah, well, you don't. Yeah, okay, yeah, but censor yourself. Decide like what you want to say,
Okay.
right?
So for me, I think it helped me focus more like in achieving my goals because I tend to like criticize myself a lot, and because I'm an international student, it's really hard to cope with like academics and everything. So I think therapy really helped in achieving my goals. And another thing is that it's like a third eye. You get to see things about yourself that you actually can't see. It's like someone else is sitting on the other side trying to tell you, okay, this is what's wrong with you and this is what you're supposed to do, which you wouldn't go look at yourself and be like, oh yeah, I suck at this. I need someone else to tell me that I actually suck at this so that I can work on it.
Something that you
Yeah.
go. Yeah. Okay. So listen, man. In an ideal world, FYI, a therapist isn't really telling you that you suck at something or here's really what's wrong with you. Like you got to decide for you. They help you see it yourself. Like what you're working on, what you got to work on. Okay. But how about? Do you have a response to that, bro?
yeah, I definitely have a response, because I've been there for 2 months. Like every
Yeah.
week I'll go like 2 times,
Yeah.
and I don't think it really helped because I'm still tired. Every day I'm still like, well, this is bullshit, and like I don't want to do anything, and
Well,
You know-
hang on though.
yeah,
Right? Maybe there are things, different ways to approach different things we struggle with, right?
Yeah, yeah. The thing that helped me was a 3-day party. It was a Friday night party, and there's a Saturday night party, and there's a Sunday night party. And after that,
And that's it?
I'm good to go.
Dude, is that true, bro? Dude, what happened at the party, man? Dude, I'm not, hang on. I retract that question I just asked you. What
yeah,
happened
yeah.
at the party? Don't tell us, all right? We don't want to know.
Nothing happened.
Yeah,
Yes.
I'm sure.
Just
That's exactly.
friends.
Yeah, okay. Hey, Sai, now let's stay with you for a second. In India, how do people talk about mental health?
So
I mean, India's a big place. You're over, 1.4 billion people. So,
Yeah.
please speak on behalf of every one of them. All right.
So, in India, mental health is non-existent. It just doesn't exist. I literally came to the other side of world so I could study psychology because it's a thing. It's like growing, but like it's a taboo. Like if you go on Google and you just type mental health in India, in like block letters, it says mental health is a taboo still in India. It's like people don't talk about it. I don't think people would even go to therapy. There are a lot of therapists and everything, but people don't really go to therapists. A lot of people go to like psychiatric hospitals when like they have disease like schizophrenia or like ADHD or like biological disorders. But in India, it's non-existent. Like nobody talks about depression. Depression is not a thing. It's you're just sad. Work, like just get up, do your work, and you'll be fine.
So just keep going. So this
Keep
is
going.
like,
Yeah, it's
like your mom would say. Yeah.
I
Just
yeah,
get
I
up
think
and
that way, like China and India, because they're more like they're very education focused, like
Yeah.
China and India. So I think for parents, it's like, oh, it's nothing, just keep going. But mostly for India, it's religion. People it's very funny, but like in like the village areas and like people are really religious. Mental health. So if I have like depression or if I have something, and I'm like from a village or like from like the poor areas, it means like there's a ghost inside me or like
Yeah.
there's like a bad spirit inside you.
Yeah.
That's what they believe.
No. A lot of folks will go down that route of of spirits.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. That's not in the U.S., by the way. We don't do that. How about you, man? How do people around you talk about mental health and?
I'd say it's something like in the United States that's people are getting a lot more comfortable talking about, but still at the same time, like it's not something that people are just like open about like to everyone. I think it's like something you have to be really comfortable with someone, like extremely comfortable to talk about. And I mean, as you're telling them like, oh, I'm going to therapy, they'll probably say like, that's really good for you. Like, I'm happy for you.
Mm-hmm.
But it's not something that everyone necessarily just like shares about themselves. Like,
But
I think
if you,
people want to be like perfect. But
yeah. Okay, but if you talk to your American friends, right, and said like, hey, I think I'm going to start therapy up here, at Penn State, whatever.
they probably would be like, that's probably a good idea. Like, good for you. Like, I don't know.
Uh-huh.
They wouldn't think of it as like a bad thing. They definitely say like it would be like a good thing if I'm struggling to do for myself.
And if you weren't struggling, you just wanted to go to just better understand yourself.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's not always something like people necessarily, I don't know how to word it. I'm not sure that anyone would really just say like, here, like, they would just necessarily, even like at a college age, like just sign themselves up if they weren't struggling. I think it takes like a lot of people to have someone to tell them like, maybe you should do this sometimes, for people to go get therapy for themselves.
Yeah.
But I think it's something people are becoming a lot more comfortable with, especially because a lot of like older people in the country, like they would say like, oh, it's nothing. You know what I mean? Like kind of that old school value, but like.
Yeah, like me. Old people like me. Yeah. No, seriously. I went because I wanted to. I was in my mid-20s. And I said to myself, so Angel, I'm curious about what you would say about this. I said to myself, self. I said, look, you're 25 years old, and you don't know anything about who you are. Like, really, how's it like a 25-year-old know anything about, how do any of you know anything really about who you truly are? Like how do you get that? Like, you don't get it. Like, because you know, our minds and our spirits are just as incredibly complex as all of the intellectual ideas that we're trying to figure out, like calculus and trig and whatever it is, right? It's just as complex. And so I saw that at the age of, actually I think I was 27. And I said, I don't have time for this nonsense, man. Like, I really, really want to grow. I want to grow as far as I can grow. And so I was in an environment where there was nobody, I felt like, if I said, in my world as an American, there was nobody who I was uncomfortable saying I was in therapy with. Like, just nobody. There's no one. I just say it. Like, yeah, of course, yeah, I'm in therapy, whatever. Angel, how about you, man? How is this talked about in your, let me just go with your family. How's mental health talked about in your family?
It's low-key a joke. Like, I think my sister brought it up to my mom once, and she, like, laughed it off and said, like, you're too young to be thinking about what's going on in your mind, or, like, you don't really know what's going on in your mind. And then, like...
Wait, how old was your sister at that point? Maybe about?
14-ish. Ish, you know. And then, like, I think one time I said a friend at school is dealing with it, and she said, like, oh, she's not in tune with, you know, God. You know, it just went back to religion. I never really bring that up around my mom or my dad, really. And, like, anytime I do, it's kind of like a joke. Oh, you know, it's the American way. American kids are doing this, and that. So just, like, stay away from them.
So they would chalk it up to be, like, you're here in the U.S., and so they chalk it up to the idea that you're being Americanized.
Yeah, and I'm following, you know, the American way. You know, if you have a problem, you chalk it up to a mental illness, and, like, that's the way you can get out of doing something else. So they're trying to, like, anytime I say it, they're like, oh, you're just trying to get out of doing this, that, or this, so.
Huh. Have you ever thought about counseling, therapy?
When I came here, and I think, like, the weather had, like, gotten really chilly, and I was staying inside a lot, and I was talking to, like, my academic advisor, and he was like, oh, you think you're going through, like, seasonal depression or something? And, like, I thought about it once, and I was like, nah, you know, I just want to be inside. But, like, he was really pushing the idea, because I told him I, like, was unmotivated to, like, go outside. But, like, I was just saying I'm cold, and he was saying there's something wrong. So that's, like, the only time I really thought about it.
Yeah. So listen, man, like, for example, I would think everybody in this room is feeling a little bit depressed today after last week and all that warm weather. And, like, here you go today. It's like, damn, man. Like, okay, so here's what I would say to you, though, right? So you came here from France?
Yeah.
To go to school?
Yeah.
From a Nigerian family in France, you came here to go to school. And, like, somehow how old were you, 18?
Right now?
No, when you came here.
Oh, no. I was about, 13-ish?
Okay, all right,
Yeah.
I got you. But somehow you're expected to just be okay, like normal okay, like I got this.
I mean, yeah, because, like, my parents like to say there's nothing, like, that I don't have that, like, I can't get, you know? Or, like, people back home don't have, but I have it, so I should be fine.
So that's your therapy, right? Your therapy is to, like, think about people back home.
Yeah.
And then, like, oh, I'm better off than there, so therefore I'm good,
Yeah.
right? Maybe that's what happened in that 3-day party binge that you were on, man. Just, yeah, okay. So the idea, so you're going to go back to so God thing is another big part of, which is a big part of Nigerian culture, man.
Yeah. A lot of the times, it's just like if you're dealing with something, you need to go speak to God about it, you know, pray about it, and, like, God will help you out. Like,
But the problem is that if God actually answers back, then you're really in trouble. Then you need the psychiatric hospital, you know what I mean? Because God doesn't answer back. You know what I mean? I mean, you can come up with, but if you actually hear the voice of God, then you are like, okay, now this is serious. So like, how's God answer you?
I don't know, because a lot of times my parents say that God talks to them in different ways.
All right.
So I don't know what I would say about the whole, like, if you were to hear God, you need to go to a mental hospital. I mean, it just depends on what you believe at
All
that
right.
point.
No, I was just making a funny point there. But listen, but your sister at the age of 14, in a way, maybe God was speaking to her and said, like, hey, I got to explore my mind. I got to explore some of these thoughts. And your parents were saying, like, you're too young to have God speak to you.
I mean, if she brought it up that way, I actually don't know. If she brought it up that way, maybe, I think that would have been like a bigger fight, to be honest with you.
Yeah, totally it would have been. Yeah, because your parents would have been like, they were like locked in, I'm sure, to that idea. Mohamed, how about you, man? So you're born in Saudi.
Yep.
Dude, Saudi, you guys are all in therapy, aren't you, man?
All of us,
Yeah,
yeah.
the
Every
whole
single one
country.
of us are getting better.
Yeah, that's how you're. Tell me about it, man. How is it in the Arab world?
So like, I guess mental health in like the Western world was slow to like become a mainstream topic, and nowadays people like tweet about their therapy sessions, right? But think about how long it took Saudi Arabia to legalize women driving, right? And then apply that to mental health. See y'all in 500 years.
So a lot of people don't know. So women started driving in Saudi Arabia 3 years ago, right?
2016, 2018, I don't know.
Yeah, I think it was 2018. So about 5 years ago. Okay.
Movie
flies.
theaters
When you get
too.
to my age, bro, time flies real fast. Okay, so go ahead. Yeah.
So yeah, if I were to look up therapy over there in Saudi Arabia, I don't think I'd find many options. I think if I talked to some random person on the street over there, he'd tell me to go find God, like Angel brought up. And a lot of people over there, they find solace in faith and all that. But not everyone, I guess. I don't know.
But okay, so let me ask a question to you all, right, for a second. So, there are mental health issues in which just chemically and biologically, we are society, right? Chemically and biologically, we experience some kind of imbalance, as many of you do, right? Some of you are struggling with a lot of depression. Some of you struggle with a lot of anxiety. Some of you are diagnosed as bipolar, or any number of issues, right? So a lot of people, right? That this is like a biochemical reaction to life. The body is a really complex thing. And so you can't just assume it's going to operate very evenly and smoothly and so on, right? So I got to think that just about the same number of people in every culture are going to have bodies that are off. So the same amount of bipolar disorder. I mean, we could, here in the U.S., we might diagnose more people with it, but I got to assume that regardless, if I think about all of you, right, regardless of your culture, we have the same number of people who are going to experience these kinds of, our bodies just being off. So that makes me wonder, what happens to all those people? Where are they? Where are they in Saudi Arabia, man? Who takes care of them?
I actually disagree with what you just said. I think might be a disproportionate amount of people in different cultures who suffer from mental illnesses.
No, hang on. I'm not talking about mental illnesses, right? Okay. I'm not talking about depression. I'm talking about a mental, a level of illness that's really emerges out of an imbalance of the body, mind, spirit. You know what I mean? So Like there are a lot of people in this room who are thinking they might be depressed. It's some level, right? Like Ting Wei. Like you're saying like, yeah, I'm really tired and I can't get out of bed, right?
Yeah.
Okay, that's what you were really struggling with. But like, okay, what is that, right? What is that? I'm talking about like really more serious imbalances. So I think there clearly are some subtle differences in cultures, but I don't think that the bodies, your body and Angel's body and Sai's body and Brooke's body and so on we're essentially the same human beings. We just have different cultures. Just different culture, right? So if our bodies are essentially the same, and it's like, okay, those kinds of things are going to happen at similar levels. So my question to you is, what happens to people who are suffering really serious psychological debilitations? What happens to them in Saudi Arabia? Who takes care of them?
They kind of get thrown out on the street, I'm not going to lie.
Seriously?
Yeah.
You have homelessness in Saudi Arabia?
Sure, yeah, whatever you want to call it. But, like, people don't want to deal with... I don't know what to tell you, but, like, I guess I have some family members who are on that, like, deep end of, chemical body imbalance or whatever, and just no one in my family wants to take care of them, that's just a burden on them kind of thing,
But
so, like,
but like in Saudi, in the Arab world, families are everything.
Yeah, but, I don't know what to tell you. It's not beneficial for, like, the family themselves.
When they go off, right, I got that. Because
Yeah.
I got that. I had a sister who was on the streets for a while because of the same thing, right? Okay. How about, dude, what happens in Korea, man? What happens in Korea to people who really who need to be taken care of and aren't taken care of?
I think like their families, most of the time their families take care of them.
Mm-hmm.
And when I walk in the street, I don't see a lot of like people with mental illness or like unstable mental health.
Yeah.
So I'm assuming that the family will take care of them.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, those people are definitely there, but the families are trying their best to not like put themselves out there
Mm-hmm.
in society.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Like trying to kind of hide themselves.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Sai, do you have any? In India, I mean, there's so many people on the streets, right?
Yeah.
And so, like, it's hard for me as an outsider. I mean, I've been to India, I don't know, like 4 times, right? But spent a fair amount of time there. But it's hard for me to assess what's actually going on.
I would probably say some of it is just because of poverty, like the people are homeless. But in India, I think family is like, it's like really important. So even if like someone's like really mentally ill, they would put it on themselves to take care of them. But for those who don't have like family, a lot of people on the roads are like people with like schizophrenia or like really bad psychological disorder. But I feel like there are a lot of organizations that actually help for these people. So there is help.
Yeah.
There's a lot of help in
yeah.
India right now. But yeah, I would say like it's like half. Like some of it's because of actual poverty and some of it's like, I feel like it's because of poverty they have mental illness because they don't have help. They don't have money to access help. And when you have a physical illness, you get sometimes you end up with a mental illness as well. So I think it's all just interconnected.
Huh. Yo, that it's interesting because I see that a lot. I see it a lot in Haiti, for example, where I've spent a lot of time and just so much mental illness on the streets. So let me ask you, Brooke, let me ask you a question. When you're emotionally distressed, who do you talk to? Who's like the first person you talk to?
Like my friends. probably.
Uh-huh.
I think like for some people it would be their family. I think I just like relate more to my friends and they understand me better at this point, like at college and stuff. So I would say the first people I go to would be like my closest friends.
So when you're like dealing with some emotional issue that it really is like you're wrestling with it, you go to them.
Yeah.
And how do you know whether to trust them?
I guess it's just kind of like a mutual like friendship sort of deal. Like sometimes when you just feel like maybe like you've been friends with them for a really long time and they've had your back before, like you kind of can know you can talk to them or they've talked to you about issues, like that mutual like respect
Yeah.
sort of deal.
Right. So this is actually kind of what I was going after earlier, right? Like, listen. Life is so complicated. Like if we're like just dead to the world, if we haven't opened up to life, if we haven't awakened ourselves, like, you know what I mean? We're just living like many, I'm sure many of you are, and it's like flatlining, you know? You're not going to take it deep no matter what. You're just not going to ask those bigger questions because you don't know how. And B, you don't know how. You just don't know how. And you don't have a sense that something is like really wrong, right? So you're just willing to live kind of on the surface, which is fine. But if you do that and you get to my age, life gets really, really, really difficult because you haven't learned. Because when things happen, when things come at you, and you haven't learned to adjust emotionally to them, it's hard. It's really difficult, right? Because the crash is bigger. Okay, you have a lot more to lose. And so, what you just said that I'm curious about, and I wonder if somebody else, maybe Mohamed, you could speak to it. But like, we turn to our friends. Like what? Or Angel, you know, you turn to like your parents who just say like. They just like stop thinking about it. Like, just stop thinking about it. Like, or you turn to your friends. Like, your friends don't know. Listen, man, in all fairness, Brooke, to you and your friends, I don't want to insult your friends, but your friends don't know anything about life, man. Okay? Like, really. I mean, Brooke's friends don't know a damn thing about life. They know something about 20-year-olds. How old are they? Most of them are like 20. Yeah,
20.
20, right? Like, okay, great. But like, come on, man. This is way more complicated than that.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, like, it's almost like if something happens and you're just really happy, like the first person you want to tell something great happened, that's the same
Yeah.
person you'd want to tell that something terrible happened.
Yeah.
And I feel like that could be different depending on like other cultures.
Yeah.
Like, but
Yeah, for sure. So, Mohamed, who do people turn to in your world, in what do you see? Who do they turn to?
I gotta say that like I didn't grow up being taught that if I'm in distress, I should turn to someone. So it's just a lot of internalizing and just stuffing it deep down. Because when you notice interactions, I guess when I was young and I noticed interactions, people didn't talk about the bad stuff. They talked about the good stuff kind of thing. And if there is something going bad in your life, deal with it.
Just what's deal with it mean? Can you what's that mean to you? Like, what if someone said that to you? Like, if Angel said that to you, dude, deal with it, man. What would that mean?
Shit happens, you know. Like, you're not special. Get through it, you know. God didn't choose you or whatever. Or I don't want to get religious or anything, but
yeah. Well, I got you, man. Yeah. So just deal with it. What's deal? Dude, What's deal with it mean to the Chinese?
Wait. Deal with it? Like,
Yeah, because that's what they'd say in China too, right? Deal. Would they even say that? Do you guys even, like, if you're struggling with something, do you even tell other people in your culture? Or do you just completely keep it inside?
back in China, you don't tell anyone.
You don't tell anyone
You don't tell anyone.
anything?
You just been, people notice you've been acting weird and stuff, Like you've been moving a lot and you've been like acting kind of weird, and people just see you like as a weirdo, and they just don't really look at you, I guess. My mom would be like, "Oh, that kid's weird. Don't play with him," and yeah, that's it. And you just kind of neglect everything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dude, same in Korea? You're like,
Yeah. Like, I don't know about like all the other families, but at least for mine, I was taught to be like just, be strong, suck it up.
be
kind of thing.
strong,
Yeah.
suck it up.
And then, yeah, like same thing with him. Like,
So did you go to cram schools?
oh yeah,
Yeah, of course you did, man.
yeah,
I mean, what? You're Korean. Yeah.
yeah.
That's like saying,
yeah.
do you have black hair? All right. So listen, man. It's stressful, right? Isn't it stressful?
It is, yeah. But like, I would say the level of stress we were feeling can be different from what other people from other countries look at us. Cause,
Yeah.
like I go to cram school, but everyone does. Like all the other students are doing the same thing.
So they're all similarly stressed.
Yeah. So it's
And-
like the level of normality is just way higher, I guess.
Do you know what cram schools are? Did you go to cram schools at all? Or like tutoring, like hardcore tutoring?
Yeah, I did. We have tutoring. Like I went to an academy.
Oh, you went to academy?
Yeah, so I had like after school tutoring like that.
Yeah, so after school, it's like more stressful than during school.
Yeah.
Well, honey, you didn't do that, did you? No. You just sat home and
Sure,
thought
yeah.
about life.
Yeah.
Burned incense and asked big questions.
Yeah. Yeah.
Did you ever wonder if you were going to lose your mind when you're asking the big questions?
By
By the way, this guy right here is a guy that he's a seeker. He's a guy that there's no question big enough for him. There's no question that's not worth wrestling with. Am I right, bro?
You are correct.
Yeah.
There was a point in my life for like a year where when I'd go to sleep, I'd think about the existential dread of death and just what would happen after.
Was that when you were like 4 or
No,
5?
thank God. No, this was like when I was 18 or 17 or something,
Yeah,
really
okay.
struggling with like just
Yeah.
the questions in life,
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying? So what was the question?
I don't even remember, Mo. I think I just needed you to say that.
Yeah, okay.
Dude, here's the thing, right? Hey, look, can you just like, I just want to take a step back and point something out, right? One of the cool things, I think for me anyway, it's cool for me, but I don't know, dude. It's cool for me. Is that I look at the 6 of you, and you're from 6 different cultures, right? And you're all talking about the same stuff. You know what I mean? You're 6 different cultures talking about the same stuff. So here's this. I want you to think about everybody who's not Arab, okay? Arab Muslim. Look at this dude, Mohammed. Not Mohammed, Mohammed. It's the name of Basim's brother, by the way, And think about what he just said, right? That's pretty cool. 18 years old. He's just thinking about these big questions and the existential dread of death and so on. Right? Dude, I think about that every night. And when you get to be my age again, I'm not like outing myself as really old, but you get to a place where death it's like on my shoulder, like I feel this chill and I turn over my shoulder because it's like death is like breathing. It's like magic on me, you know? So like here you're saying this, the same thing that and people all over the world are saying it. And one of the things about this class that I really appreciate is the ability to hear things from people from different cultures who like all tell different sides of a similar story.
Do you want to hear a story?
Dude, I want to hear what happened
Yeah.
on the third day of that
Let-
party, man.
Sunday night was pretty good.
But your mom might be watching, so don't.
No, she doesn't know English. I'm
All right.
safe.
All
I'm
right.
safe. All right, so I have a funny story at Cram School if you want to.
Yeah, give me
Yeah,
a
yeah.
cram school story.
So, in China, what happens is you go to school in the morning and you sort of finish school at 4:30, something like that.
yeah.
And every cram school they would have their own bus waiting at the outside of school, just like pick you up, and you just go straight to the cram school.
So
Yeah.
Brooke, by the way, hang on, I gotta explain this to Brooke. So cram school, it's like after school tutoring that can go on until like 11, 12, 1 in the morning, right? This isn't like this isn't tutoring where Americans, by the way, this is not tutoring that happens from like 3:30 until 5:30. This is tutoring that's going to go till 10, 11, 12, maybe 1 in the morning. And then you wake up at 6 in the morning and you start all over again, right? But anyway, go ahead, bro.
Well, it's more like your parents don't care about you and they just don't want
Yeah,
to.
they just want to get rid of you. Yeah.
Yeah, they're like, oh, just put him in cram school, well, whatever. And people don't get enough outside like classroom time. Like there's no PE. There's one PE every month, every week, and that's probably get taken care of by the math teacher. You know.
No, that you get your phys ed when you're walking from the bus to the school.
Yeah,
and then
yeah,
the
yeah.
school to the bus
Yeah.
to the cram school.
Real
to the
important,
bus.
real important.
Yeah.
And so people would like to, people want to escape. Like people want to just go like, just run out. And they don't want to go to the cram school. And I was one of them. And so that day, we had a like medical thing we have to pay for. So your parents give us money, and we have some leftovers. And so my best friend just said, "So, what do you think we take a real bus to the cram school?" I'm like, "Hell yeah, of course." So after school, we just sort of like just hide under everybody. I just ran away ran through the security check and ran to the rail bus station. And I remember like we were trying to pay with our own like the money, and we were so excited. We were like, "Oh my God, this is how it works. It's not people just taking they just take you up in the dark bus." I'm like, "Well, this is interesting." So we went to the bus, and we eventually get to the cram school like an hour later, because we did not know what station to get down.
Yeah.
And we get there, and everyone's like freaking out, and they're like, "Where the hell are you?" Oh my God, everybody's like, "Where the hell are you?" And we're like, "We're just taking a real bus." And they're like, "You should like." They just got really mad. I remember one of my cram school teacher. He punched a hole in a wall. And yeah, he just go like, boom, and I'm like, oh shit, and both like my friend and I just started crying out of no reason. So we're just like, oh, damn,
Dude.
yeah. And the second day, my school teacher, my real school teacher, like learn about it, and we have to get like punished, like by just standing just standing all day at the back
Yeah.
of the classroom.
Uh-huh.
And the thing about China is you never move in classroom. You just have one classroom, and teacher will come and teach everything. They come and go to every different subject.
All
So
right,
every
okay.
teacher would just saw us like standing like at the back of the classroom, like, what are you doing there? And we would be like, oh, he made me do it or whatever. It's that's the story.
That's the story, dude?
Yeah, that's a week. You have to stand at the back of the classroom for a week.
For a
It's-
week?
Yeah.
Damn. All right.
Yeah, it's pretty funny. Yeah. And my best friend transferred like a year later. Yeah.
Dude, I don't even have a response. All right, hang on. I think
I'll mess them
the
up.
one thing that I want to say though about that story, thing I get from it, is like the China, like Korea, is a very communitarian-oriented culture, right? So it's like very community-based, and so like hang on, I can't. I want to go into that, but I'm not going to go into it. Sai, I have a question for you.
Yes.
So you, as a woman from India, where mental health is not dealt with as openly as it is in other cultures, what do you think we need to know? Like, because you're passionate about this, right? Yeah. What makes you passionate? Like, what do you?
The thing is, I'm just passionate about mental health in general because, like, I just love mental health, and then that's what I want to do for a living.
But what is it that you love?
So, because I think it's fascinating, and I think I grew up in a family where mental health was really important. I didn't want to go to therapy when I started, like, school here. But, like, it was my mom was like, no, you need to go. Like,
Your Indian mom.
yeah. Like, my family is very open, and I have family here. So it's very open. They're very open to everything. Like, it's not like every other Indian
So-
family.
Okay, what do you think? What makes them open?
I think it's because my mom comes from a really wealthy family, and because she's exposed to, like, I think my dad's not like that. My dad was like from like a probably middle class family. My mom was super wealthy,
Yeah.
and I think she was exposed to, like, I don't know, just upper class things that
Yeah,
she's
yeah.
so open, and that's what I believe is that's why she is so open, and that's who she is. And I don't think everybody has that accessibility, and I don't think everybody is fortunate that way. So I feel like to the question you asked, that I am fascinated because I am the kind of person, I'm really interested in mental health. Like,
Yeah.
that's in me, and I've grown up with a family that's really involved in mental health.
Yeah, yeah.
And that's one reason why I want to do. But, like, in general in India, I feel like, here's the thing that I wanted to ask you a question as well. Like, I just don't think it's in India, but I think overall around the world,
Yeah.
for men, mental
Yeah.
health is not a thing. Like, if I in this room and I'm like, how many of the, like, if I should show of hands, all the men who go for therapy, I don't know if there are going to be a lot of people.
No, it's many fewer men
Yeah.
are willing to, because people have the idea that if you have to sit down and talk to somebody, this is very much an Arab thing, definitely a Nigerian thing, not a French thing, but if you have to sit down and talk to somebody, it's a demonstration of some sign of weakness or something.
But, like, everyone is weak. That's what I don't get it.
No, everyone is weak and everyone is strong, right?
Yeah, I get
but
that.
if you don't need to go to therapy, if you're struggling, like Ting Wei, it's like saying, yeah, like, but I'm tired, you're struggling with what is something that mimics depression of some sort, right? But whatever that is, I mean, it could be lots of different things, But the idea is, if you have to talk about it, it's a sign that you're weak. And at the same time, if you don't talk about it and you just keep plowing through, it's also a sign that you're strong. Right. Even though you're strong in the wrong ways, right? So, bro, Tingwei, you're an athlete, right? You fence. And like, if you have bad form as a fencer, right, you're gonna develop the wrong muscles.
Well,
Okay.
well, I've met people that's pretty weird. Like, they fence like literally like a shrimp. Like, they were just like
Okay, I
like
got
this.
it.
And
All right, hang on.
he's coming to the school next year, by the way.
Okay, all right. I'll tell him to take my class. Listen, dude, but the idea being that if you develop the wrong muscles, then you can like really go off, right? And that's what the therapy thing is. Like we develop these grooves in our minds.
Maybe, but he's really good.
All right, we'll leave him aside. Yeah. Hey, Angel, what is there anything do you have anything that you would add to what we've been saying? I got a question for you.
Okay.
What would lead you to say, man, I got to go talk to somebody?
I actually, I would never sit down and talk to somebody. I'm sorry, but that's just me though. Like I genuinely
Wait,
feel
but
like
you talk to your friends, don't you?
no, but like
You don't talk to your friends?
No. Well, I do talk to my friends, but like not if I'm going through something. Like,
What do you do, man?
well, I mean, my
So
mom.
hang on, you got to tell us about this. Might be like some French Nigerian, like who?
No, my mom just like really expressed like meditation and like if you feel like there's something off, you need to like explore what's off. So you need to like meditate on it and like see like what part of your body is like telling you that something's off. So like I do a lot of meditation. I do a lot of alone time. You know, I just do a lot of sitting and thinking. But like I genuinely don't think like you can make me sit down and talk to somebody about my feelings because like everybody might feel some type of way, but like the product of that is different, you know? I don't know if you understand what that means.
Oh
you
yeah,
know?
no, totally. Dude.
Like I could talk to a therapist or two therapists and tell them, hey, I'm feeling this way. And they'll be like, oh, it's because of this. But it really isn't always because of that.
Yeah, no, definitely. No.
Yeah.
This is the process of like
Uh-huh.
of sort of of discernment,
Yeah.
right? You have to discern, and that's the thing. Like, bro, you're like, yeah, I sat down with this woman 2 months and nothing, right? Well, there's no discerning happening, right? Like, yeah,
I feel if you, with therapy, if you don't want to take help, like if you want,
Yeah.
you're taking the step, but if you actually don't want to like help yourself, no matter what she's gonna do, he or she, you're just not gonna improve. It's here.
it's like Mohammed. You can ask yourself those really deep questions, but you have to be willing to try to answer them, or there's no sense in asking the question.
Solo perspective is bias.
It's all what?
It's bias.
Bias?
I feel like the point
Bias.
of therapy is to get another perspective on the issue. You know
Yeah,
what I'm
yeah.
saying? And if
Yeah, I
I'm
would-
just sitting there meditating, I'm probably going to think the same thing over and over, and I'm not going to develop an answer in the end.
Angel, you hear that? Here's what he's saying, dog.
You're only looking at things through your perspective, you know?
I genuinely, maybe this is wrong to some people, but I genuinely feel like I only need my own perspective to deal with what I'm dealing with.
Dude,
I know what I can
touche.
handle and I know what I can't handle. And having somebody else be like, oh yeah, you need this help to handle this, you're not going to tell me what I need to
No,
handle.
no, no, hang on. But they might, dude, that's a very cool idea, by the way. And cool idea. But, however, not the last one. The last thing you said, it's like, if you and I were talking together, I would never tell you, this is what you need. I would say, hey, have you ever thought about this or thought about that? I'm going to give you some kind of question, which is like, in large part, what happens in this class, right? Like I'm asking questions, I'm getting us to ask questions and think about things that we probably haven't thought about. Some things you've thought about, but most things you haven't, because that's the nature of it, right? That's how this operates. Does anyone have a question they want to kick out there? Bro.
I got a great question.
Great question,
Got a
man.
great
Is
question.
who's it for? It's on, dude.
Okay. So, Sai, I want to hear your opinion. When I talk to a lot of men about their mental health, it's always, oh, just go to the gym. You'll be fine. Just go to the gym. And that's what I hear all of the time on TikTok, Instagram, Twitter, everywhere. It's go to the gym. You'll be fine. What's your opinion on that?
I think it's so messed up, first of all. But I'm not saying gym doesn't help someone. It's even for girls. Like, there's this thing, like, when you break up, everybody's like, oh my God, the one who's hurt the most has the best, like, glow up because of going to the gym. I think here's the thing that people don't get. Going to the gym makes you feel happy because of the hormones in your body. It's like facilitating you to increase more, like, happy. In
like
simple terms,
the endorphins and
exactly.
stuff.
In simple terms, just makes you happy, and that is why people say go to the gym. But people now, especially men, because they don't want to talk about their feelings, easiest thing, go to the gym, bro. Here's the thing. I know people who go to the gym and they're so depressed, And the thing is, they make other people's lives worse. Men who don't talk about their emotions, they like mess up everything.
Dude, you guys hear that on the end, right? Yeah? Dude. Does anybody have a question? We have time for one more question. Anyone want to ask a question? Dude.
Okay.
Oh wait, hang on. Here's a question, Mom.
All right. So, like how do you know when to go to a therapy? So like when you're sick, it's obvious. You don't feel well, or in case if you're like old, you want to go for a checkup. But when do you go to therapy? Like you don't want to waste money just, going out of a whim, feel like, oh, I'm just having a bad day, or maybe feel like I'm depressed or something like that. But
hang on. I want Mohanad to answer. Mohanad, our Saudi friend, you're gonna tell us when you know it's time to go to therapy, man.
When the problem is serious, when it's affecting when you're actually thinking about it a lot, when you feel more lethargic in the day, when you feel yourself thinking a lot more, you know what I'm saying? And it's also, you can't just go to therapy and expect it to work. A lot of it has to do with whether you jive with your therapist or not. Like so much of it does. But there's not really like a trigger in your brain that's like, okay, now I need to go to a therapist. It's more like you reflect and you see that the problem is bigger than you, or like you can't handle it, your friends can't handle it. This is like,
Got that, Brooke? Wait, do you have a comment?
I was just gonna say, like, it's interesting hearing, especially what you were saying about like, if like an adult notices like a child in your country is like struggling, like they seem like they're kind of off lately, like it's almost like don't talk to them. But like I'm an education major, so it's kind of like I just look at it and it's like my job to like notice that and like do something about it. So that's like something that in our culture, like we're constantly looking for signs that like something might be off with like children and students, and like it just seemed like really strange to hear like adults would be like, oh, just, you know what I mean? Like they seem like they're like not doing well mentally, like don't play with them. Like, you know what I mean?
Dude,
like that's
awesome,
something
man.
not common at all here, so.
Dude, awesome. I like that. Hey, can we have a round of applause? Yeah. Dude, come on, give yourself a nice applause, man. Thanks, Don. Thanks, bro. And tell me after class, tell me at some point, I want to know the third night at that party. Hey, you guys can sit down. Just sit down there for a second. Wait. Hey, dude. Can you just come up for a second? Yeah, the three. Yeah, come. Yeah. So, I just want to introduce our you take that. I want to introduce our guests for on Thursday. Bunjun.
Yes, thank you. Thank you.
Thank you for being here.
Korea.
Thank you.
Korea. Thank you. I'm Korea.
Yeah. Thank you for coming.
Yes.
Yeah. So on behalf of my class.
Yes.
Yeah, so you can, we are really looking forward to hearing you play the cello.
Yes.
You can say it in the mic. Yeah. You can say it.
여기 있는 학생분들이 오빠가 여기서 연주하는 거를 볼 거래.
네.
목요일 날 연주를 할 거야.
Yes. I play the cello.
And we look forward to your concert.
Yes.
And to the tea ceremony. Say.
여기서 오빠가 연주도 할 거고 그리고 다래를 선보일 거예요.
네, 맞아요.
맞아요.
Yeah. Thank you.
Yes, thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
So on Thursday, as soon as the previous class is out, Bumjun will be here doing a cello concert. Yeah. So if you come early, you can listen. During the middle of class, he'll play another medley for us. But thanks. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Thank you.